Now, another thing that people don't know with the Inflation Reduction Act will push cancer patients off a cliff. These people who are parsing through this bill for certain things they're looking for. Okay, so a physician may not be looking for the energy costs and all that stuff in the bill. They go straight to the medical part of the bill. Doctors have sent warnings. The Congressional Budget Office have sent warnings, and economists have sent warnings. The question is now: is Congress going to listen and reject the IRA or blame everyone else when the consequences of this horrible bill are exposed? So we know that didn't happen because Biden was more than happy to sign it. Last week, a new provision was added to the reconciliation process that would reduce payments to physicians that give infusions, a medication that needs to be received through an IV line, like chemo, medications for immunodeficiencies, and chronic diseases, in their offices and hospitals. Simple, right? Well, not so fast. Independent physicians will receive a substantially bigger cut, a larger cut than the physicians employed by large hospital systems that have corporate lobbyists strategically positioned around Washington, D.C. This new cut for independent physicians will add to the already substantial financial pressure on independent physicians to sell their practices to a large hospital system, further accelerating a trend that has already resulted in 74% of physicians being employed by such entities. Ultimately, it will hit cancer and rheumatology patients hard, as these two kinds of specialists take on a substantial financial risk by using a buy and bill method to give their patients life-saving disease relieving infusions. The consequences don't stop there. Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act created huge financial incentives for large hospitals to acquire physician practices. But data shows that this change has resulted in higher costs per patient without providing any improvement in quality of care. This is true. In fact, one study goes further to recommend that policymakers should carefully consider policies that limit consolidation of hospitals and physicians. Yep, clearly the Senate Democrats did not heed this warning with the payment cuts proposed in this latest bill. Hospitals will have greater ability to snap up independent practices. Some independent groups like National Cancer Care Alliance, comprised of 200 oncologists, have banded together to share practices and savings. They state they have developed systems that are designed to greatly reduce hospitalization rates, avoid hospital fees, hospital facility fees, and hospital associated complications, and provide care that is more efficient and with better results and is less disruptive to your life at a significantly lower cost. Many may simply decide to hang up their practice for good and not wanting to practice, not want to be told how to practice by a hospital. All right, so this is still an arm of the Affordable Care Act. Okay, so this is what happened in the Affordable Care Act. When Affordable Care Act came out, it incentivized doctors were being a lot of independent practices shut down because they were like, there's just too many regulations. I'm not doing this. Okay. So now this were the ones that were still standing. When you have a doctor that's actually focused on the group of patients that they have, especially with a situation like cancer, they give them the best quality of care possible. They're not just doing a bunch of algorithms because the facility says they should do it. They still practice real medicine. This ends up taking money away from them, and it's going to make it harder for them to practice independently, meaning that they would have to either join a large hospital or just not practice medicine. So what does that do? That once again, this bill is nothing but replacing sustainable anything with something cheap. It now says, Build Back Better. Hey, equity, who do you think you are, having a special doctor that does things the right way, an independent doctor? We need to flush that out. Equity. Everybody go to the hospital. Acquire infections, everything. Everybody go, we all have to do it the same way.